It was very much a red letter day. I was home at the property just doing chores, and I received a phone call and they announced that I was the recipient of the Artwork Commission for Parliament. The very first person I told besides my children was my pop. I went straight down to his shed on the property and told Pop that I'd won the commission. He was like, woohoo! Well done, I'm so proud of you, and gave me a really big cuddle.
This artwork is so important for the Parliament of New South Wales. We are a place that is the centre of decision making for this state, the largest state in the Commonwealth. It's the oldest parliament in the nation, and it should be reflective of our nation's Indigenous heritage. We're particularly proud that we're going to be able to display this artwork right in the centre of the Parliament, in the Fountain Court, which will be one of the first artworks that people see when they walk into this building. You know, we've got such an important colonial past, but also such a deep Indigenous past as well. And what I want to do is to ensure that both of them are reflected equally and appropriately in this place.
In one word, how do I describe them? Short? No. I know, just beautiful, kind, what she's done and achieved. You know, it's a real reminder of, you know, how hard she works and what she deserves and that, because she is a lovely woman.
Oh, wow. I think first and foremost, I really want to complete this artwork in the best quality that I possibly can, and what a legacy to leave my family. And for me, that's the biggest part of winning this commission, is the legacy that I get to leave my bloodline. And to make my family and all my friends and my community proud. I've lost a lot of my elders now. I know that my mother would be very proud, and a lot of my families that have now left us, but I mean, they've seen my whole career in the last 20 years as a professional artist, and I think to hit a milestone like this and something so historically important, and especially for an Indigenous artist in New South Wales, absolutely amazing. So lots of pride coming from my family. The Bicentenary Commission is titled Ngurra Jagun. Ngurra Gumbengi, a word meaning home, shelter, and Jagun meaning country. I feel our culture is our compass, so it always brings us back home. It keeps us grounded to our ancestors, it keeps us grounded to our country. So I wanted to have our Southern Cross as the feature, the main forefront of the work, while having my saltwater, freshwater connection paired within the artwork. A typical day in my studio is walking into the studio, just opening up shop, grabbing my brush and my paints and getting to it. I first began sketching out the scope of the work, so it was kind of, you know, standing in front of it and trying to gauge the size of the oval shapes and the circles to get that balance, so then I can begin the background and then create the detail on top. So once I painted all the background in, then I would start from the centre outwards. Because of the size of the work too, I had to begin where I could reach it comfortably. So for me, it made sense to begin in the middle, and then once I got to a point where I could lay the work flat, then I could go around the canvas and reach the work and then begin that way. I have discovered how hard it is for me to switch off from my love of the art. So it wasn't a big surprise to me that I struggled with that I couldn't just be here all the time. It's the first time I've ever had to travel to a painting. Because of the size of the work, I wasn't able to do it from home. And I'd be thinking about it the whole time that I went home because there's little things that I want to do. And I couldn't access the work to be able to do it in that moment when I was thinking about it. Right now we're on Gumbaynggirr country. This is Nimbai. This is Nimbai Jagun, Gumbaynggirr, Nimbai Jagun. I like just being in nature. Like, I'm such a nature person. I love being in country. I love being near water, whether it's fresh water or salt water. I love to go camping and just chilling and just having that space to just kind of stay connected to my home.
Yeah, it was the best years of my life, living out at Bicentenary and swimming down the back of the river. We had a day we went down and it was a very steep hill, mudslide, and none of us could get back up because the path was so wet. And me and my older brother sitting there, we were just laughing and we were all falling over and slipping down the hill and that.
I think that's a big influence on the way that I make art, because a lot of my art is definitely nature-based. It's very spiritually based in that way as well, where it's respecting the old and the new ways.
Well, Mum's always painted that. She used to make her vases and little cups and whatnot. She'd done screen printing, so she made all the designs on her shirts, and she'd do a lot of that and a lot of jobs in between, but she's always done her artwork in the background.
There is no rhyme or reason or process with my creation. It happens when it happens, and in whatever form it happens in at that time. I'll create anywhere. If the moment is right and I've got something in front of me, or I'm thinking of a certain design or something speaking to me in that moment, I just do it. If it's raining outside and I need to just be inside at my table, that's where I do it. In that moment of creation, I don't care where I am, it's just got to happen. I'm a Gumbaynggirr descendant. That's my saltwater connection. That's my grandmother's country. She's from Nambucca Heads. So my lineage from Nan is Gumbaynggirr. My grandfather was a Bundjalung man. So he was from Baryugal area out near Washpool Creek. Our family's from out that way. So that's my freshwater connection. So my saltwater totem is the sea turtle, and my freshwater totem is the jamban, is the platypus. So that's my freshwater totem. I have very early memories of creating ever since I was a baby. So if we were ever outside with my mum, I would use the sticks and the leaves. I remember creating pictures with nature and the bush around me, and being immersed in that moment as a little person felt like the longest time. When you're tiny, everything seems so amplified. So it was like everything was just so larger than life for me when I was little. So I remember that. I remember grabbing different parts of nature and kind of putting them together and making pictures and amusing myself. I was just a creative child. I just taught myself, and I was so excited when I became an adult. I always wanted to go to university, and I'd been creating for a few years prior to that they offered me straight into second year with a 4-year scholarship just by my portfolio, and I never went to school. This country was my school, so I learnt by hands-on, by the people around me, and just experiencing life as an artist and living and breathing that.
Yeah, I used to always paint with Mum and everything like that. Art is a very big part of our family, not just for Mum, but also the cousins and all my aunties and everything like that. All the women are pretty artsy, and you get them together and it's a Yeah, it's a good time.
A turning point in my career was being introduced into the professional art industry many years ago by my auntie. I was privileged enough to be part of a women's collective that started down at Bomali, and I've got to exhibit alongside some very amazing, beautiful women, and we all become sisters and like family, and that was a long-going women's collective for about 10 years. I did have a moment in my career, this was many years ago, where the cost of me to create a piece of work, to have it professionally framed and couriered, to exhibit, keep exhibiting my work, that the financial side of it, it's very hard to survive as a regional artist. There aren't as many opportunities, I feel, regionally than there are in bigger cities. So I certainly got to the point and I wondered, I'd never give up art by any means, but would I do it more for myself rather than for a gallery? Did it have to be for money? Because what I was getting back was not feeding my family. It wasn't paying the bills. It just become so chorus and stressful because you're wondering how you're going to get this done to get into this exhibition with a maybe of a sale, you know, at that stage. So I'm like, do I really need this? So most of my career has been working, absolutely having a full-time job. The opportunities just weren't quite there in my time, in my life at that moment to sustain an income just as an artist.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Open.
Oh my god.
I was so worried that I wasn't sure what you think this really mattered.
I love it.
And I've been freaking out about time, like I felt like I hadn't done enough.
No.
And then when I got my email, it was like, how does it feel to be halfway through? I thought, I've only got 8 weeks left. I'm so happy that the President really appreciated the work. There was a genuine love which has put my mind at rest now.
It's different to where it started and I love it.
Absolutely, it's definitely evolved.
Yeah.
So I've tweaked little bits and pieces that we've spoken about and decided I really wanted to keep that connection line, you know, the oval was fine. I've started putting the fresh water through. I was happy with the stars, it was important that I made them fit within the work without being part of the whole work and not separate from the work.
Yes.
And the centre, that was my hardest part, was getting that community really sort of portrayed with the different tonalities of dots.
Yeah. What do you think, David?
That's brilliant. I love it. My breath was taken away.
Yeah.
Walking in.
Wow.
I'm so happy. I love it so much.
I'm so glad, that's all that mattered. All last night going, I just hope Ben likes it. Yeah, there was a couple of comments, one that David made, and it was quite an important question, and I think a few people may ask that. So which part is the saltwater connection and which part is the freshwater connection? So because we're governed by sea, that's the outer part of the design, and the freshwater comes in through the middle.
What's that? What are they?
Well, they're basically just molecules of water.
Beautiful.
I'll show you my diary.
Yeah.
So that was the original.
Yeah.
And they're like little squiggles that I'd done representing organisms and elements of water and stuff like that. So I changed it to like the memory of water, the palette water cells, the bigger ones are like the molecules. I think it's been a very fluid process. A lot of prior preparation helped with beginning the work and continuing to do the work. I think the only other sort of like tiny struggle was my ability to reach parts of the work. So it was really creative ways of platforms and hiring my chair or having it flat or being able to swivel the work around. So when I was doing my centre first, if I moved the stars that way, I could reach the omega star. And if I moved it around again, I could reach the alpha star. So it was kind of really moving that work around so I was as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, I'll take my girls over there and we go have a look at what Mum's doing and what she's creating, and you'd walk into her studio and you'd see all the trestles and a little ladder and that, and she's sitting there trying to work around it and get all the dots in, and but as it progressed it just started to pop more and more and more. And
It's so good. I love it, love it, love it. So
I'm
what
so
else is
glad.
left to be done? I mean,
Well,
what's your...
ultimately, I want to double coat a lot of things
Yes.
and get that beautiful opacity going
And the
on.
texture, yeah.
And like I said, fix that background, but I want to talk to you about that first to see how you felt about that.
I love it, yeah.
I think the balance will be quite good, and I don't want to lose too much of that blue, so I'm pretty much at end point. I have this done in another 4 weeks. I can't wait to bring my granddaughter to my studio. I have 3 beautiful granddaughters and 1 grandson. My oldest granddaughter, Hazel, she's very much got her grandmother's genetics. She's an amazing little artist, and she's so creative and beautiful, and the way that she sees the world, and she loves her grandmother's artwork, and she's so excited to come over and see Ngurra Jagun. So she'll be coming for a special visit in a couple of days in Hopi. So I can't wait for her to stand in Ngurra Jagun and look up and around at it. Just, yeah, that's going to be great.
This is a symbol that's important to both Indigenous and non-Indigenous
Exactly.
people. And everyone sees it exactly the same.
Exactly.
Like that message,
It's so beautiful.
it's so powerful.
Like,
you know? It's,
I love that the most because
Yeah.
it's like, it's for everybody.
Absolutely.
And leaving a legacy that is something so special and amazing. I feel really blessed. I feel so lucky and blessed. So what's your favourite part of the artwork?
My favourite part of the artwork is like how you do the like circles, because they look so like neat and tidy and it's like amazing.
After conversations with Ben on how we envision seeing the final process of the artwork from 3/4 finished, it felt like time kind of sped up. I finished the background, I checked detail, I made sure the opacity was on point. It kind of happened when I went in and signed it off, and on that day I sealed it, all ready to go, and then sat and had this moment. It was finished. When I got home, I actually took my chair out and I just looked at the night sky. I really just spoke to my ancestors. I was speaking to my mother about, I know how proud she would have been of me and what an achievement and moment in my life that this was. But it was kind of like, what now, you know? I just loved being in the studio and creating the work, and then it was all over. And when the work went with the courier to the framer, it felt really empty. It wasn't in my space, so it kind of becomes like a part of yourself. You put so much of yourself into work like that, and you create this piece, this work, and then the work's gone and it's all over. My second oldest son, Clay, he's watched me create my whole life ever since he's a little baby, and sat him on my knee and painted by candlelight out the bush, you know, and trying to carve a future and stuff for us. I can't wait for him to be a part of this, you know, because he never sees this stuff, and he knows that I work really hard and he's been to my studios, but to come to a moment like this with something so hugely important is going to really hit his heart. Like, it's going to be a memory he's never going to forget, and that's the biggest part of this for me, is for him to experience that with me. Well, it's on the cardboard. We'll get the work, we'll just lift it and peel it back from that bubble wrap cover, and then we can remove all that
pull it out from under it.
all the wrapping from that thing. Oh, wow, it's so blue.
Yeah.
I've got to get my phone. I've got to get a photo. And I kind of hope when it's unveiled, there's a moment, you know, where people are kind of seeing it for the first time with all the detail and the beautiful blues. But my biggest thing is when it's out of my hands, it doesn't have anything to do with me anymore. It's up to individuals to find their own connection to that work. And I think that's the most special part of being an artist. I'm just grateful for all of it. Whatever feedback there is or whatever reaction there is, it's all a gift to me. It's all a really special moment that I will cherish forever. And knowing that Parliament's a meeting place. I really hope it's like this positive grounding tool, because there's so many big decisions made there, and there's people coming from all walks of life, and even members when they walk past, if things are getting crazy, to kind of go, you know, and just to simplify of who we are as human beings and ground back down to, you know, home, country, family, unity, love, kinship, always moving forward, because our time is precious, you know, and the legacies that we leave behind and the things that we do today affect tomorrow. That is perfect.
That's good.
It's a light spray of light that just kind of just comes down on the work. Yeah. Without spotlighting, just something.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Beautiful. Oh, well, there you go. We were just talking about that. It worked out well, didn't it?
The smaller lamp, yeah. That's good.
You are all very welcome here today on this incredibly special occasion.
I'd like to extend a warm and sincere welcome to all my Aboriginal brothers and sisters, non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters. Welcome to Gadigal land.
Kim, to say very quickly, this is all about you today.
I tried to not put any thoughts in my head this morning. I woke up, I had my morning coffee, had a shower, started doing my hair, and then putting my ochre on, and then just waiting, just sitting around with Clay talking, looking at our view out our window, waiting to arrive at Parliament.
Well, yeah, I guess I was pretty excited and that, just to travel with Mum and come experience this big moment with her, but also very proud of Mum and what she's accomplished.
I can't think of anyone more deserving than you to win this commission. Can I say the way you speak about your art and the generosity of your spirit is genuinely inspiring.
I think it's very fitting that we've been able to do this as a recognition of the Bicentenary of the Legislative Council, the first Parliament in Australia, and a Parliament that we're all very proud of, but we should never ever forget left an awful legacy for so many people, so many First Nations people, through much of its history.
I can't wait for you guys to see the work. It's going to be here for a little while, and it's very reflective of where we see ourselves in another 200 years. You know, we talk about worldviews and things that are important to Indigenous culture, and our core beliefs are that everything is interconnected. We are not separate from anything. We're not separate from each other. Everything is a universal kinship. You know, the legacies that we leave behind in another 200 years, who knows, but I hope the seeds that I plant every day is something that will grow into something that is important for our future and for generations to come.
We obviously are here for one reason, and that is, of course, to have Kim's wonderful work permanently displayed here at Parliament. So I think it's time to unveil Ngurra Jagun. Kim and Mr. Speaker, if you join me while we do so. This is Ngurra Jagun. I think we'd all agree it's pretty spectacular. This painting is such a bold and positive statement for everyone who will visit this place for so many years to come. And we hope that it serves as a real grounding force for members and staff and visitors, and a reminder that, in the words of Kim, our culture is our compass. It guides us with the knowledge of our ancestors, and it keeps us connected to our heritage and to country. Thank you so much, Kim, for the gift that you have given us.
I feel so content and happy in my heart right now. The reaction to Ngurra Jagun was absolutely amazing. I love that it evokes something for everybody individually. Everyone has their own connection to the work, and that was so obvious. It really filled my heart to see people even move to tears as they viewed the work and immersed themselves in amongst it and really felt the strong message that it had to say.
Being here now and realising the scope of how big it actually is and what it's remembering, it's a pretty big deal. You don't really understand that down at home, you know. Mum's like, oh, I got this and that, and You know, it's like, oh, that's cool, Mum. You get up here, it's just like, wow, well, you know, for what it represents and what she's leaving behind as well. You know, that's the main things.
Oh, wow. I think first and foremost, I really want to complete this artwork in the best quality that I possibly can, and what a legacy to leave my family. And for me, that's the biggest part of winning this commission, is the legacy that I get to leave my bloodline, and to make my family and all my friends and my community proud. Right? That was my hope in the beginning, and it actually happened. It's like things line up, it's just all meant to be. Yeah, and I definitely know that that's achieved, absolutely achieved. What a special gift to be able to make that happen, you know, what a beautiful legacy to leave, and a positive shared future vision of just look out for each other, look after each other, you know. I really have to thank all the team, all the Legislative Council. They've been wonderful people, and I've really grown fond of you all. Everyone's been so kind and generous and patient with me, and it's been so genuine, it's been so authentic, and I felt that the most, so it's held a very special place in my heart. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, but thank you all for being here.